Hello everyone from Masindi, Uganda, on the border of Congo. Right now we're going to talk about how do we prepare this year specifically for Pesach, because this year is unique, and it's so unique that the next time that this is happening is in another 20 years from now. What I'm talking about is that the Seder falls out on Motzei Shabbat, which means we go from Shabbat into Pesach. Now, while a lot of the preparations are same still, how we kasher our pots and pans and all these things are very, very similar, there are a few things that are different, and it has to do with the days leading up to Pesach. So every single year, we have the Seder night. The night beforehand is Bdikat Chametz, which means the day we go, that night we go, we check the house if there's any chametz left, and then we have a special prayer. The next morning we finish eating and we burn the chametz. That is how we do it every year. This year, we can't burn the chametz on Shabbat. You can't set a fire on Shabbat. You can't burn things on Shabbat. And you can't look for chametz on Friday night because we look with a candle, we look with a torch, with a flashlight, with something. You can't do that on Friday night, on Shabbat. So what do we do? So we're going to start from Thursday. By Thursday, your house should be clean for Pesach, which means all of the things that have chametz in them should be cleaned, put away, sealed, everything, all of our chametz stuff that we are planning on selling. So those of us who live far away from locations that it's easy and accessible to get kosher food, you are allowed to sell your chametz. If you have certain chametz that is not of high value, you burn the chametz. We don't sell things that don't have high value. But if there's certain things that you need to keep for the coming year, you are allowed indeed to sell this chametz, and we put it all aside in a way that it is not accessible, what's called bali ra'eh uvali matzeh. It shouldn't be seen and it shouldn't be found, so it can't be accessible and it can't be in our vicinity of where we're working, and we sell that chametz. So by Thursday, you should make sure that you have sold your chametz either in person, or what you can do is I'm going to attach a link in the comments, and you can look at it. And there's a link that you press, and it brings you to the website of Tzohar for selling your chametz. That's the first thing that you do. Now Thursday night, we get together and we do bdikat chametz. Typically, how it's done is someone, usually the wife, goes and hides 10 pieces of chametz. Now, because the house is already clean for Pesach, and we don't want to have more chametz spilled around, especially if you have little children who are going to help you in looking for the chametz. Well, this is very, very important. We do not want to cause a mess. So what we do is we take the bags of chametz. We take the chametz, we put it in bags. So you can take 10 pieces of bread or crackers or something. You wrap them up, each one individually, inside a bag, in a napkin, whatever, something that it's not going to make a mess. And you go and you put them in different places in the house. Then you gather the entire family together. You say, now we are going to do bdikat chametz. Now is when we're going to look for chametz. Everybody gets together, stands around the table, and you make the bracha al bior chametz. Then all the lights in the house are off. Everybody has a flashlight or a candle, and you're going around looking in every single room for these bags with chametz in them. If you manage to find all 10, the assumption is you've actually looked around the entire house and made sure that nothing was forgotten, nothing under the pillows, nothing under the carpet, nothing behind anything. Everything is clean. You take all of those bags, you put them in one big bag together, and you say the bracha of kol chamer v'chamia. Any type of wheat or barley or any type of chametz that I have, it does not belong to me anymore. It's not important for me. It shall be like the dust of the earth. And that's it. With this, we finish bdikat chametz. The next morning, usually, we would finish eating and then burn the rest of the chametz. But this year, what we do is Friday morning, we will burn the chametz, but it's sort of just so that we remember it for next year that we burn the chametz, because we don't say the usual bracha of kol chamer v'chamia that we say when we burn the chametz. This year, what we're going to do is before, depends where you are, but around 11 o'clock in Kenya, what we're going to do is we're going to burn the chametz. You take it, you put it in the fire, and make sure that it's completely gone. Then, we will keep on eating chametz, because we're not actually doing biur chametz for another day. So in this point, we're just burning it. Friday night, you are allowed to have chametz completely. However, this becomes a little bit complicated because the whole house and all of your dishes and everything is already kosher for Pesach. So most people don't actually have a meal of chametz, but rather have a kosher for Pesach meal and have challah outside on the different dishes on something that we're making sure that it does not make a mess. So if you can get your hands on like pita or something that tears but doesn't make crumbs, you could be able to have on Friday night some sort of chametz, and you are also allowed to, even for Ashkenazim that don't eat kitniot, do not eat different legumes and different things that we typically do not eat on Pesach, because it is not chametz, you are allowed to have it on your Shabbat meal without any problem. You can cook in your dishes with it. It's not a problem. It does not make your things chametz. So that is what we're doing Friday night. Shabbat morning, there's three different options. The first option is wake up early. So certain communities that have this kind of option don't have the regular minyan be so late, and they start praying at around 6 o'clock in the morning. By 8 you're finished, and then you can finish eating your meal before sof azman achilat chametz, which means before the last time that you're allowed to eat chametz, which is in Kenya around 10ish. In our community in Nairobi, we're going to start davening at 9, which means there won't be this opportunity to eat that late. So what we're going to do is we're going to have an early, we're anyone who's at home, right, can have like cereal or whatever that's not kosher for Pesach at 8 o'clock in the morning without a problem, but by 10 needs to make sure they finished. Those who are going to be coming to shul, so what we're doing this year is something that isn't typically done, but we're going to have, again, our regular services, and then instead of our hamotzi being on challah, because we will finish our services after sof zman achilat chametz, after the time that you're stopping to eat chametz, what we're going to do is we're going to have matzah ashira. Matzah ashira, which means rich matzah, or right, it's like sweet matzah, is matzah that is not made just of flour and water, but rather is flour and wine, or flour, eggs, and apple juice and sugar, right? So there's different ways of making it that's sweet. And Ashkenazim do not eat this on Pesach at all. Sfaradim eat it on Pesach, but not at the Seder. Now, the problem that people have is you're not allowed to eat matzah at all Erev Pesach, the day before Pesach, because you're supposed to go in wanting to have the matzah. But this is not matzah according to Ashkenazim, and Sfaradim also hold that you can eat this without needing to, without any problem, because we're not eating it at the Seder. The matzah that we eat at the Seder is called lechem oni, the poor man's bread. This is not lechem oni. This is not just water and flour. This has flavor. This has sweetness to it, and therefore this is not what we're talking about. So what we're going to be doing is, after we're finished with services, we're going to have hamotzi with matzah ashira. We will not continue eating it out throughout Pesach, and then afterwards we will sit down in my house and we will have a meal that will have rice, and it will have hummus, and it will have other kitniot that we're not going to be eating on Pesach, but we could still eat it on Shabbat day before we go into the Seder. So that's completely fine, and that is how we're going to do. Now, on Shabbat day, before what's called sof zman bi'ur chametz, the last time to burn the chametz, so as was mentioned on Friday is 11 o'clock, so same on Shabbat. I'm going to do it around when we're reading Torah, because that's when we have the most people in shul, and I'm going to make an announcement that we are doing bi'ur chametz now, and we are going to read it all together. So anyone who is at home, anyone who is not in a community that's going to be able to do this, make sure that when you wake up, you're finishing eating your chametz, or if you're not having any chametz at all, you stop whatever you're doing, you open up your Haggadah. The Pesach Haggadah has in every single one bi'ur chametz, how to get rid of your chametz, and you stop and you say Al Bir Chametz, you finish that ceremony. And with this, we'll be going into Pesach. There are a few other things of preparing, so things that we would prepare before the Seder. So the salt water and checking the leaves of the lettuce for bugs and making sure that everything was cooked before Shabbat. All of those things go in addition to the preparations, but the truth is a lot of years we end up doing this early anyway, so it's just to keep all of that in mind. I wish you all a Pesach Kasher V'Sameach.